Call to order the meeting of the Public Works and Utility Committee. Today is Monday, September 8th, 2025 at 4:30 p.m. at the Weston Municipal Center. Roll call, please.
Zagami is excused. Lopes Ferrero.
Here.
Jordan.
Here.
Hubbard.
Here.
Lumper is excused. Schuster.
Here. Thank you. Any public comments, either in person or online? All right. Item number 5, approval of the 8/11/25 Public Works and Utilities Committee minutes. Motion by Fred. Second by Tom. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 6, acknowledge August 2025 water and sewer permits.
Make a motion to acknowledge August 2025 water and sewer permits.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
by Fred. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Staff reports, item number 7, CIP update.
Most of these projects are on the agenda in some way, shape or form, but I guess they're all going, the weather changing. The biggest item of discussion with all the contractors is, let's make sure we get this done before winter hits. So right now, everything's looking like that should be the case. Making sure we get pavement down in October or early November. I guess for the Ross Ave Metro to Alderson, we do tentatively have a public information meeting scheduled for October 8th. I don't have that on here. I can send that out too. It's not necessarily a public works meeting, but it'd be a meeting for the businesses and residents along that corridor to kind of go over that project with them. I think may even be somebody from the DOT since that one has STP funding associated with it. Fuller Street project is ongoing. There is, I guess if you walk through there, you might notice on the west side, it seems like the sidewalk is a little high in some areas. That it did get put in a couple inches high in some spots. We're looking at, kind of the contractor figuring out the answer themselves of what method they wanted to do to make sure that everything flows back to the road. So whether that be, they could have their concrete sub rip out all the sidewalk and redo it. They're attempting to just restore back a little further into the yards to make sure everything will still flow over the sidewalk. So if you go through there, you might notice restoration is a little further back than typical in areas, but I guess that's kind of their choice. And then any work over planned quantity for that restoration is at the contractor's cost, not the village's. So.
Have they found all the bad? I mean, are there gonna be areas they're gonna have to do something else behind there?
There might be
still.
I think there's maybe 2 where there really isn't.
Are they gonna redo the sidewalk?
Might be a combination of one of each. Yeah. So I think for the most part, they can get it to get across the sidewalk and drain like it should, but.
I thought it looks nice. I mean, the
Yeah.
sidewalk, they did a good job on it. It looks with the curb also, so.
Yeah, so if you go through there, if you hear something from a resident, that is there, but it's not the village's cost, I guess, to remedy it. It's if it was up to us, we could just say rip it all out and do it, redo it all, but I think whatever, probably close to 1,000 feet of sidewalk, they probably don't want to rip out. So. But it should all work, and before we approve, I say, yes, this is good, we'll make sure it is what it should be. Biz 51 pond, I got that in the packet, but we've got a couple items to get together for the Clean Water Fund loan before the end of the month for that one. And the bike and ped master plan it is I guess underway now here as of the end of August. So we had an article in the newsletter about that, and we'll be working on getting additional information out to the public there. And then the GAC tanks, well, I won't steal Josh's thunder. I'll let him talk about the well 3 and 4 work. So. And I don't know, I added a bunch more information to this table here, and I'll try to, if you have any questions about the projects, just trying to track kind of where we're at with cost to date on them and any special notes. If you got questions, let me know. Otherwise,
Any questions for Michael?
Oh,
No. Item number 8, street operations update.
First off, we had grading of the gravel roads throughout the village. We also did purchase some calcium chloride to mix together to put down for the residents that live on these roads. So we applied a quart of calcium chloride to do dust control after the roads were graded up. We finished the storm sewer install on Sternberg and G. Ellen, which also included putting in 10 nylon-plast storm structures, 1,800 feet of pipe, and reshaped the ditches and hydro seeded everything back in, getting it ready for the overlays. Also did the dig on, we did an excavation on Meridian Street. The crews excavated 2 feet of material out from the road. The top gravel grade was a granite about 6 inches. Under the granite was about a foot or so of topsoil, but we got to get a good sand base excavated out, put a sand lift back in, and a 12-inch recycled base course for the grade. Excavation was about 125 feet long. The reason for this spot was right in front of the business where there's a lot of truck traffic coming in and out, and the road was getting deteriorated pretty bad there, so. And crews also are finishing up on the manhole water valve adjustment overlay projects. They got 3 guys on it doing all the adjustments. They're doing about 6 manholes a day that is start to finish, dig them up, pave them, and well, set them back and repave them in. Along with that, the crews are also doing the milling of driveways and the intersections. Two personnel is involved with that. Millings are picked up with the street sweeper. We also haul those back and it goes right on our recycled blacktop pile. We also got some more line painting done, signal painting over off of Schofield Avenue where the GSP was applied. The pavement markings were by the school and to the industrial park entrance. They needed to be redone, so staff got that done before school got in session. And for the shop, all the both leaf backs were in along with the trucks they mount up to for service and repairs. They finished fabricating the plow wing, replaced with a thicker steel and gussets for reinforcements. We also repaired an inlet, cast iron inlet on Ross Avenue. They fabricated a stainless steel box for Schofield Avenue irrigation mechanicals. The box was wrapped in a vinyl flat green, so it's not a reflection as people are driving by on Schofield Avenue. The old box was rotted out and rusted, so they made it out of aluminum and stainless steel spring. And also there was a fabrication of a rack to put our 8-foot barricades on the truck. It's being mounted to the back of the truck. So they're also adding stoplights, turn signals, and emergency lights on it. So you can see it because the signs will be covering up the taillights on the truck itself. They finished up the fabrications on the 4-in-1 bucket. And not in the pictures, they also did our quad axle number 90 AT repairs. The Flailmore drum replacement bearings. Number 15 triaxle replaced oil cooler and service. Number 38 front end loader with service. Shop compressor with service. Holes, reels in the shop were repaired. And the overhead crane was inspected by Custom Steel and shop lifts inspected by Waltz Patrol. That's it.
Anything for Forrest? Awesome. Thank you, and I really appreciate the work you guys do into fabricating some of these things. Obviously, if we were to go out and buy a metal box for something, it would be pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So it's nice that we can do some of that stuff in-house.
Absolutely.
So,
Those pavement markings look good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had my drive by when he was doing them and
Okay.
they look really good.
Yep.
Does a good job on those.
Yes, absolutely.
go ahead.
I'll just say a long line painting should be getting done next week or this week.
Next week.
Next week, Friday.
Portage County.
So we've been working with Portage County Highway Department the last few years to do our long line painting, which is at a considerable less cost than some of the private entities out there.
So we're doing more of the regular pavement markings.
We'll do the specialties, the arrows, the words, the crosswalks, those things, and then the truck that just goes for, 2 miles down Schofield Ave, that gets contracted out.
All right, thank you. Item number 9, utility operations update.
So we had a couple of kind of our miscellaneous well stuff, kind of replacing some feed lines and some repairs to some of our chemical feed pumps. Michael mentioned kind of our treatment plant projects for wells 1 and 3. I guess we do kind of have a finish line schedule for our well 4 and the permanent tank portion of this. You can see in the pictures, tanks got delivered. It's a tight squeeze getting it through the door. I mean, there was probably about 1 inch or 2 on either side for them to get in. So we got it in. It's tanks outsides were painted. We had some discussions on colors, and green is kind of for our raw water that has not gone through any of the granular activated carbon material. Anything that would be beyond that then in the treatment plant will have a blue color to it. Kind of the schedule on that portion, I believe next week we should have municipal well out to do some of the work on the pumps in well 4. We need a rehab and the pumps needed to be rebuilt as well. Midweek as well, the tanks will be getting disinfected with an anticipated GAC delivery the 22nd. I don't believe that's changed since Friday. I didn't get a chance to get out there today to take a look at it. So I think I don't know if we have a meeting scheduled, but I think we're gonna have to have a meeting to kind of get over and see what the startup of this is going to look like and when it's gonna be and what boxes we have to check. I can't remember what the DNR said, but they wanted to come up, I believe, didn't they, to be part of something. So I think we need to get a meeting on the books here to kind of go through what the startup's gonna look like for that portion of just well 4. The well number 3 side of that, the bid opening for that portion of the project is tomorrow afternoon. So get an idea what those costs are for that portion, but that probably I don't think we have that able to start it all this year, do we?
Maybe by early
End,
winter.
yeah, maybe portion of the winter, they could start some of the well 3 portion. Yes, outside of our treatment plant work, on the water side, number of lateral inspections are happening, for our water and sewer inspections with the guys. Couple of curb stack repairs. I included a photo of that in here as well. Water main flushing continues. We completed this, I think it was last month, maybe. We completed the the east portion of kind of the system east of Camp Phillips. The guys revalved and are gonna be working, heading the western portion of the village system. The street projects are still keeping us going. Slowed down a little bit. We still got some water main work and some temp water stuff we got to check in on Fuller. Green Tree Acres portion, they still got some stuff going on as well. On the sewer side of things, we had a demo of a lift truck that we're going to be hoping to, well, we wanted to see if it's going to work to lift some of our heavier pumps. It seemed like it worked well, so I guess we'll see what Brian decides on that. Our sewer jetting continued. I just included one kind of photo there, the reel that sometimes when they pull it back, you can get all kinds of different colors as you're cleaning out the sewers. We did our kind of regular maintenance of collecting some of our pH data, cleaning our bad spots and maintaining some of our generator stuff. SCADA project, we had some of our final meetings with the designer and implementer. We did get a draft final report from the designer. We're gonna go over to see what other comments he had on that for the SCADA. See if we need to have our implementer do anything in addition to that. It seems most stuff is functioning as we expect. Locates, still a bunch of them, work orders, still a bunch of them. On our contract side of stuff. Part of our, I guess, PFAS project was, we had submitted a couple, not claims. As part of our class actions with 3M and DuPont, we got our second payment. It was just over about $850,000 we got for the second deposit into our account. We haven't heard yet on the other one. Who's the other one?
3M. Oh, no, so that was
3M,
3M.
DuPont, and then we haven't.
BASF and Tyco.
They haven't finalized the BASF and Tyco ones yet, so we don't know exactly where that's gonna be. It won't be quite as much as this, I assume, but we haven't heard anything on that.
Yeah, so those are just the 3M deposits.
Yeah, this. So the first deposit was 3M, this was just the 3M, so we still have fully whatever we're gonna be getting from the DuPont portion, and then in addition, whatever they finalize for the BASF and Tyco. So hopefully lots more to come for us. Well, 7 and 8, I could probably take that off of here. It seems to be running. I hesitate to take it off. Otherwise, we're gonna jinx ourselves here. I did mention our SCADA project, mentioned the street stuff. I guess the only thing in addition to what I haven't spoke about already are UCMR 5, our second round of samples were collected. Since wells 3 and 4 are off, we couldn't collect those samples. We do have a 5 to 7 month window though to collect any additional sampling for this UCMR 5. So I'm assuming we'll be able to grab something from well 4. I'm not sure well 3's project's gonna be done in time to hit the window for the sampling period. So that one might not be included with the sample information. And then beyond that, we have our kind of customers added, our water pumped, wastewater flow data, and our lift station information.
Any comments or questions for Josh? The money that we are being allocated from the settlement, is that, I guess, being allocated toward anything right now, or is it just going into an account until we?
Yeah, I think Mike can speak on it, but now that we're getting our tanks in and we're kind of gonna have our first purchase of our GAC material, we'll kind of start being able to start seeing what it costs to get new material, what it is to dispose of material. So I think we're hoping to utilize it for that.
Yeah, so in talking with Jessica, I was trying to create kind of our its own designated kind of PFAS account so that you know, because there will be additional treatment costs for media disposal and you know, new media fills. So I guess the goal would be to try to keep that money in its own account, and hopefully there's enough where we can earn interest income on it so that it can hopefully, I mean, maybe not 100% pay for itself, but we're, you know, it can maybe last us the next 20, 25 years, something like that, versus spending it right now and then all of a sudden we have to say, oh, whoops, now we need to go get a rate increase because we need to increase because our operating costs are going to be higher. So I know she was looking into what some of the PSC rules are on that to kind of keep money aside for operations, because you have to account for your operations and that's how your rates are determined. So she was going to see how to make it so that you can still kind of say, well, this fund is for this part of operations, and instead of the PSC looking at our report and saying, hey, wait, something seems off. So
I know we talked about this before, but how often does that have to get changed? Is it roughly or?
yeah, it's going to depend on how much we pump, but initial estimates is once a year, maybe twice. So if we use the wells a lot, we'll use up the media quicker, but
Right.
so So if 7 and 8 stay up and running, I mean, they can kind of be our workhorse, and then these guys will be filling in, and 1 and 5 would kind of put on the back burner as kind of emergency kind of fills, so.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to take the money that was awarded to fix a problem and have it actually put toward that problem, so
Yeah.
it's good to hear.
Yeah, but fix the problem.
Yeah, yeah. All right, anything else? All right. We'll go on to policy discussions and recommendations. Item number 10, well 3 iron, manganese and PFAS treatment project bid status.
Can I make a slight ask that we move number 19 up?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, let's jump to item number 19, emergency services signing for hospital area.
So it's kind of a follow-up from last meeting, and Ike wasn't here at the last meeting, and he's the one that's kind of been in main contact with the hospital area, so I know he put this schematic together. And I guess just kind of want to make sure that's kind of the way that the committee was thinking we would sign this, or if there's other thoughts. You know,
Yeah, so essentially, whenever Marathon County did improvements on Camp Phillips, they did throw like a hospital head sign just off of the intersection of Weston Avenue and Camp Phillips. After that, there's no more after that point. So yeah, reading or listening to the recording from the last meeting, it sounded like they may want us to take a look at adding additional signs. This is just a preliminary draft. If we want to take some out, just leave the emergency ones that were the original ask or whatnot. Once you get into the complex, like Michael had mentioned during that meeting, there are wayfinding signs that Marshfield Clinic maintains on their property along Ministry, Cranberry, and Birch, showing people where to go. It's just coming in off of Weston Avenue. There's not much there. So this is just showing either direction. Like for example, on the left side there at Birch, straight in, going to the hospital, and right and left turns from either direction. Then when you get to Franciscan, right or left turns, along with a sign at that intersection saying straight in is the emergency service area. And then just one advanced sign at Stone Ridge saying that hospital straight ahead. So they kind of go together. You can clearly add in way more signs, but this is way more than what's currently out there. And should be able to get everyone into at least the wayfinding signs that Marshfield Clinic maintains. So at least have an idea of where they're going. But we can definitely trim it back. It's just, the talking topic was there is we got to stick to a uniform sign that's known in any community that you would go to throughout the United States. So. Questions?
Questions or comments for Isaac?
Just for, since I'm kind of new, are these gonna be all village signs?
Within the public right of way, they would be our signs to maintain, correct? And I don't know what the
So
actual,
we're responsible for, the village is responsible for maintaining if they wear out or what have you.
yeah, I'm not entirely sure on the fading. It usually takes a while, quite a while for them to fade where you'd actually want to replace them. But I know a lot of that, we get a decent rate if we need to make them, or we can actually make them too here in-house. We have steel, or we have the aluminum, we have the ability to print these and send them out there, so.
Just looking at the picture, it seems kind of excessive.
Yeah, so another way we could do is we could just have the ones that go in on Birch saying hospital straight ahead, or the emergency medical care straight ahead, and then not have anything on Weston Avenue is another possibility.
Last time, did we talk about this many? I don't remember.
we talked about the intersection up at Franciscan and Ministry, and then I think there was some further kind of ask of what does this look like around the campus, so I mean, so I guess this would be, you know, if somebody was on Weston Avenue and they really didn't know where to go, you know, this is an option, like I said. I mean, maybe this one straight ahead maybe we nix this one and just signal these three here at this intersection, and maybe this guy even gets bumped up. Instead of right at Weston Avenue, that goes back towards that Franciscan Ministry intersection, and that way, if you're on Weston Avenue, coming from either direction, you see one of those two signs that points you down Franciscan, and then we get one more then at Franciscan and Ministry that says, go right there, and at that point, you should see it.
Yeah, we can really adjust how much or how little. That's kind of why we're bringing it here, so.
I think the emergency ones are in the right spots, and I think you could put one on each end of Weston and maybe eliminate the two on Birch there, where you gotta turn right or left, Weston Avenue coming east, at least it points them, you go north and you're gonna see the hospital.
Right.
And if you come off Camp Phillips, you'll hit that first sign on Weston Avenue, so you know the hospital. If you're not from around here, you're gonna know what's ahead, and then you'll see all the emergency signs.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you turn off Camp Phillips, you should pretty much recognize the hospital.
You should,
It's
but
just a matter of
They have them on camp.
where the emergency
Right.
area is.
There's one or two.
I don't know, that's just my thought. It just seems kind of
Westfield, or Westford.
excessive for
Yeah.
signing.
So,
And the biggest problem with signing is when they go up, everyone sees them. And after that, they ignore them. Drive around the village, we got how many thousands of signs that children playing, well, you see it one time and it just seems like almost too much.
I think we got rid of all the children at play signs,
We
actually.
just had that conversation. I don't have any of those.
So Tom, you're saying, I think, get rid of those two, correct?
yeah, I wouldn't think those, I
No,
mean,
yeah.
somebody, if you don't want them on, at all on Weston Avenue, the emergency ones, I think are right where they should be.
Okay.
If anything, that one that goes up Franciscan could go a little further to the north maybe, but still, it's.
Right.
I think those are fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would almost argue, and obviously, we can do whatever we want, but I would almost argue that the one that's on Weston to the west of Birch is somewhat unnecessary as well, because you're gonna end up reaching that next intersection regardless, if you're coming eastbound, and from there you can see the hospital, and you should be able to see some of these other signs as well, so I get the one on Weston Ave to the east there because it is a little bit longer of a stretch, and somebody might come off of X and be like, I don't see a hospital, I don't see anything. But then once they get to that next intersection, there's the 3 EMS or emergency medical care signs. And from there, it should be pretty obvious where you need to go.
and I think there might actually be a Marshfield Clinic wayfinding sign on that corner of Franciscan, right?
I think so, yeah.
There's their own sign that they have there. But
On Franciscan at Weston.
I think so.
It might have
But I
some.
forgot Franciscan is the westernmost
Right.
surrounding the hospital, right?
It's the one in,
It's the one in the middle
right
here.
in the middle of
Birch-
this screenshot.
Birch Street is this westernmost road,
Okay.
and then Franciscan's kind of this one,
All right.
cuts through. in the
Oh, yeah,
middle.
you're right, that's Birch.
Or we could just do the 3 at that one intersection, or even 2 at that intersection, and
Right. Would still be better than existing, so
You still
really
have-
anything is better than
They still
existing.
have that there. Sound like Birch and
Oh, that's Birch.
West End.
Yeah.
All right, any other discussion? Would anybody like to make a motion?
Do we need that one that points to the emergency medical care to the north even? Because once you turn right, there you can see the Marshfield Clinic signs that say emergency there too, I think.
That was our thought, but I think that's where the conversation came from the very beginning from Marshfield Clinic.
Cause somebody got.
Someone turned in there and then they claimed that they could not see emergency. Now, Marshfield Clinic's gonna be, I believe, put that sign on the backside of their stop sign, so it does say emergency right there at the entrance. Anyone that's driven through there, they have their own that say that, and there's emergency on the canopy, in there. But I guess the person that complained about it did not see any of that stuff, so. So really, yeah, anything's better than the current, I guess.
I mean, for me, it's hard for me to imagine getting to Ministry Parkway on Franciscan and not seeing the large emergency sign, but I recognize that everybody that goes there has different knowledge of the campus and all that kind of stuff, so I respect that.
And more than likely, it's always the first visit. That's
Yeah.
until they get there, they don't know, and then once they're there, then they're fine after that point. Just for those first visits, people not being familiar.
Although the sign on the emergency is red, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah,
Pretty
it's-
much stands out. Once you turn off Weston, you should see it immediately, and that's why I guess I'm not in favor of over signing because it's maintenance and I can see them off on Weston telling people where to turn, but once they get there, I know on Birch, there's a big, right at the driveway, there's a big emergency this way.
Which according to Google Maps, there's one at Franciscan and
Yeah.
Weston Avenue as well. Saying to go that way, but I think the person that had complained, their issue was once they turned there and got up to Ministry, then they didn't know where to go. Which. Yeah. Right. So. Unless I'm misunderstanding, it seems we're all in agreement as to the sign on both signs on Weston Avenue near Franciscan pointing to go up Franciscan. Does anybody else have any thoughts on the one on Franciscan or the one on Weston Avenue that's off of Camp Phillips?
I think the one on Camp Phillips or right off is a good idea. Points them in the right direction. Once they get where to turn, I would eliminate those.
Eliminate.
Let's say the third and fourth one on the top. Yeah,
The ones that are Xed out.
No, he's saying.
no, and the next two.
I would eliminate maybe the one that's a straight arrow north, but I would probably keep the two that are, say, turn right, turn left.
Cause those would be for westbound traffic
Right,
and
and
eastbound
eastbound.
traffic to say go up.
Yeah,
But I would eliminate that and then keep those three remaining. I'm
right,
good with
yeah.
that.
Weren't they gonna do something at that
I-
intersection then to kind of lead you in once you get to?
To Ministry, weren't they?
Yeah.
Once you got to that stop sign.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
I think Isaac had mentioned it, they were gonna put emergency on the back of their stop sign.
That was my recommendation to them, yeah.
Yeah, so like right on back of this stop sign or somewhere else even in here. I mean, this sign here says emergency, but you know,
It's facing the other
it's
way.
facing kind of the wrong way for you. And you know, I know it says emergency on the canopy here.
Yeah, but when that tree has leaves on it, you're not gonna see it.
Yeah, so I mean, I can understand some people thinking, well, all I see is this garage door.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes the MRI truck is back there and you think it's a loading area for the hospital, not necessarily this prominent, like, this is where I'm going to, so.
And if you're driving there in an emergency, you're looking for signs, you don't know where you're
Yeah.
under stress anyway, right? So I'll make a motion to accept the three signs that we had agreed upon. That's three. I'll recommend the village board proceed with the revised permanent signing layout for around the Marshfield Medical Center in Weston.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? I'm sorry, Joe, was that a yes or a no?
That's an aye. Yes.
Okay. Motion passes, and I'm an aye on that.
Thank you.
All right. That was 19. Go back to 10 now.
Sure, unless Tanya wants us to move up her items.
Okay.
You're good? All right. Okay.
If you kind of wait and push forward.
I bumped something. Yeah, it is down. Okay, all right,
All right.
continue.
Item number 10, well 3 iron manganese and PFAS treatment project bid status.
Yeah, so as Josh alluded to, the well 3 bid opening is tomorrow. It was initially scheduled for a week ago. There was some items that came up during late during the DNR review where we thought we were still able to work under a waiver we had for the Build America, Buy American provisions of the Safe Drinking Water Loan that we currently have for the well 4 and treatment plant work. However, the DNR got back to us late last week saying that their interpretation of the rules is we are not able to still request that waiver, so those Build America, Buy American requirements will be enforced. So then we need to allow the contractors more than a day essentially to update their quotes for us. So with that, those bids are due tomorrow instead of last week. So, but nevertheless, I thought it'd be good to just kind of go over the building itself, kind of the purpose of it. So we refer to this as the well 3 work, which is a little confusing maybe because all the work for the most part is taking place at the treatment plant. But it's to treat the water from well 3 from the iron manganese, which is required prior to the GAC treatment for PFAS removal. So long story short, that's why we had to take well 3 out of the well 4 and treatment plant project, was because we had to prove that iron manganese was part of the PFAS treatment cycle in order to get the emerging contaminant funding, which is why we thought the waiver was still applicable, but the DNR said no. So, but overall, the work at the treatment plant for well 3 is expected to cost about $3 million. This building is nearing 40 years old, which we'll have an addition put on the northwest corner for iron manganese treatment vessels. Along with that, we're looking at replacing the existing roof, repaving the driveway, updating a lot of the electrical wiring and controls within the treatment plant. Some of it no longer meets current code, so it's getting some of that electrical area in its own room instead of within some of the other working areas of the facility. Getting the chemical feed rooms up to code, and then getting a backup generator that would operate both wells 4 and the treatment plant. So I guess the fun part, I guess, as far as the site goes, I don't even know, I probably should include does everybody know where the treatment plant is? I probably should start it with that. Our old municipal center is across the street. So First Supply is just off the page to the west here. This is the Mountain Bay Trail on the north side. The trailhead for the Mountain Bay Trail is here on Municipal Street. So this leg of the driveway goes down on the east side, goes to Municipal Street, and the west leg goes down to Sternberg, which was in the backyard of the old Municipal Center at 5500 Schofield Ave. So I could probably pull up a quick Google image of that. So this was our old municipal center on Schofield Ave. Our treatment plant is this building located behind it on Sternberg. If you're on the road, you'll kind of see this just plain kind of yellow brick building in the background. So That is the treatment plant for wells 3 and 4. So, so within the facility, the existing space, these 4 tanks here are representing the granular activated carbon tanks, which are currently getting installed. Here we have an air stripper that was installed back in the 80s for VOC removal, volatile organic compound removal. And then this was kind of the chemical feed room. We had all the SCADA controls, electrical controls, as well as an office in a room here. So as part of the updates, we'll be adding this northwest corner onto the building to house the iron manganese removal, which I guess a zoom in of that. So we'll have kind of planned for 6 vessels initially for there. 4 of those, or all 6 of these are from the temporary treatment we had for PFAS, or do we have 4? I think we had 4. We have to get 2 more. So then we'll add a restroom there for staff to use if they're there. The control room and electrical rooms will be separated now. And then the rest of these chemical feed rooms will be updated to meet current DNR requirements with then the carbon tanks over here. And then I guess as an electrical or architectural view, still be kind of a brick facade, kind of sticking off the west end, trying to match that lower roof line that exists currently, as it is a 2-tier. So from the front, there's not a whole lot. We have a couple louvers and airflow kind of additions, but for the most part, that roof line is staying the same on the south side. And then from the north, you'll see the kind of bump out be added. And then the east and west elevations, you'll see that the brick building kind of jut out there. Oh, I don't know if any other questions, but
Boys, this will come back at the next meeting.
yeah, we'll at least get the bid results. I'll see how quickly we have to turn it around for the safe drinking water loan. We might need the board to take action on bid results. But you know, we will be submitting the safe drinking water loan for the emerging contaminants portion. 3.5 million is generally what's been allocated to all municipal utilities for PFAS removal. The well 4 work currently should leave us with still probably about $2 million worth of the principal forgiveness there for that work.
So you didn't need anything else from us today? This one? Okay.
No, just figured I should
Okay.
let you know what's going on.
Any other comments for Michael on that one? All right. Item 11, Weston Avenue, Highway X to Highway J, construction change order number 4.
Yeah. Talking for a while. So this is the construction change order for a time extension for integrity grading excavating on the Weston Avenue project. Kind of a summary of the previous change orders, which are generally more for material type or construction methods. This one is an ask of a time extension due to rock that's been encountered, primarily with the sanitary sewer installation. You know, you try to plan ahead and you get borings ahead of time. And it seems like most of these rock shelves are starting within 50 feet of where one of those borings was, but we didn't quite hit it. And then it goes for a couple hundred feet and then it stops short before where the next boring was. So they've hit 2 spots. The first one they kind of dug through. Second one, they had some Swiss cheesing or drilling of the rock. And this third spot here that they've hit, it really hasn't been something that they've been able to get through. Their production has kind of dropped to, you know, maybe 20 to 40 feet a day as they try to chisel through the rock versus about 300 feet a day when there's nothing in the way. So I guess in reality, this would be a differing site condition. I don't know if we have much contractually where we could truly deny it. But I mean, they have been trying to work through it as best they could.
Discussion? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Fred,
I'll second.
second by Tom. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 12, Weston Avenue Highway X to Highway J Construction Services Contract Amendment.
All right, so then this is the agreement we have with AECom, who is our on-site construction inspector for the project that is going on out there. So with the project looking like it's going to be going past its original plan date, there is an additional ask essentially of 200 hours of inspection to cover that additional time. So that totals $17,160, essentially for 4 weeks, kind of estimated, I think 50 hours a week.
Any questions? Do I have a motion?
Well, hang on a second. Michael, is that for one or two guys that are out there?
Yeah, so they have one full-time person, and then as second crews have come in, they've added a person as needed. So at some points, they've had up to 3 pipe crews and a grading crew on site all at once. So
Okay, all right. So the 200 hours then, when the extension is only 4 weeks, is assuming that there's gonna be 2 guys part of the time because of the additional crews on site or the number of sites to manage?
correct, yeah, it's, roughly a mile of roadway, so if you're.
Okay, all right, I understand.
Yeah.
Any other questions, Joe?
Nope, I'm good, thank you.
Do I have a motion?
Your turn, Joe.
So I move to recommend the village board approve the engineering services agreement amendment with AECom for construction-related services for the Weston Avenue reconstruction project from County Road X to Orion Street for a price not to exceed $17,160 due to the time extension on the contract for rocket excavation.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Item 13, Schofield Avenue Design Services Amendment.
All right, so this is one we discussed a little bit last month regarding the design changes on the Schofield Ave project and associated cost on the design there, where that was the change in the scope of a pavement replacement project to moving to a full curb, gutter, sidewalk redesign for a good chunk of the project there. Well, new curb for the entire length of the project and new sidewalk, mostly on the north side. And then driveway apron grades, those alignments. I guess, then we also added some additional utility work for water main replacement through the Alderson Street intersection. So, I mean, there was design scope change from what was asked for in the original request for proposals as compared to what the final product was. And I think, trustee Zagami had asked for some of these things to be broken out, which I think we did get a little more elaborate breakout of kind of some of those changes. So,
Any questions?
Yes,
Go ahead.
you looked at the amount, it seems reasonable to you?
I mean, for the amount of work that was required, and the kind of the scope there, as I said last month, when I looked at what some of the other proposals we received initially were for, it's actually kind of close to what the current ask is, but a lot of those had mentions of curb and gutter and cross sections and additional work that wasn't, I guess, asked for initially. So if we would have stuck with, hey, we can just zip out the concrete pavement and put down new pavement, that would have worked well. It was just as we got into it, you know, we had 10 feet of good curb, 10 feet of bad curb, 20 feet of good curb, then a few spots of like it, trying to figure out how do we patch that together? How do we make that work? It just didn't seem to fit what we should do. And then as we, the other issue was the outside or the interior median on Schofield Ave, the way it was tied into the concrete pavement. There really wasn't any good way to salvage that without, and we could have tried to saw cut the entire length of the project. Aesthetically, that probably wouldn't have looked great. Functionally, it probably could have worked. But you know, it would have been tough to do. So I think the amount of effort to get to where we were, it does seem reasonable.
Okay.
Any other questions or discussion? I guess, and I may be missing some of the previous discussion on this, but so the changes that were made through this project, they're these changes that we requested to be made from what we originally requested.
Correct, yeah, like I said, so we asked a proposal for a redesign of Schofield Ave as a pavement replacement project with some new traffic signals. Essentially the gist of the project, you know, even looking back, one of the addendums, you know, I responded with, there's no expectation that sidewalk is gonna change except for curb ramps at intersections. As we got into, like I said, as we got into the actual design, then we got the survey data and, you know, they start saying, okay, so do you wanna save any of the curb, you know, I think the first part of the discussion started with how do we save the interior median curb? You know, and as we dove into that, it was like, oh, shoot, I don't know if we can save the interior median curb. And then it was, well, do we still save the exterior curb, the outside lanes? And you start looking at that and you've got, like I said, good and bad curb all together, tied together. So how do you, in hindsight, I wish I probably would have had about another 3 months to scope the project out. And I would have realized initially, like, shoot, there's really no worth saving this curb. And just been realistic with that. It was kind of a hope that we can keep this to a minimum of just pavement replacement. And in reality, that wouldn't have been a project that I think we all would have been happy with the end product on. So.
And in reading the packet, it seemed like you were discussing that the other companies that bid on this may have bid with kind of that more extensive of a project.
Yeah, as I looked back at their proposals before the last meeting, just the way they kind of worded the services or the expected level of service for the project, it did include, you know, I believe one of them even called out, you know, curb and gutter grades and, you know, making sure that that level of detail was going to be set. When if you would have kept the curb without removing it, you wouldn't need all that additional information.
And with this amendment, do you think our costs are gonna be with this company would be similar to the others that bid on it?
Yeah, it would be.
Any other questions or comments? Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve amendment 2 in the amount of $89,625.
Motion from Fred. Are we on?
You're on the next one. This one's 93-4902.
Sorry. Should be.
I've got it,
Yeah,
Michael.
Yeah.
This is Joe. I move to recommend the village board approve the engineering service contract amendment number 1 for the Schofield Avenue, Normandy Street to Birch Street construction project due to the change in project scope.
All right, motion from Joe. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Tom. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14. Yeah. Okay.
All right, so then this one kind of follows the last one a little bit there, where, but the, at the same time as, actually, maybe slightly different. So when we ask for proposals, I guess, state, you know, in order to get kind of an apples to apples, I say estimate a 22-week construction schedule, kind of for your in-house management, number of meetings, things like that, and then 1,320 hours of on-site inspection. So that's kind of a carte blanche. Assume this when you give us your construction services number for the project. In reality, this wasn't a 22-week construction project. We're looking at a 30-week schedule. And maybe a little bit similar to Weston Avenue. With the increased scope, there has been a need at times for 2 people to be on site, and there probably will still be times where we might need 2 people on site moving forward. So, you know, as I looked at some of our other projects, like when I put that table together, which was kind of nice, you know, this is a $6 million project, and the current construction services contract of 175 is, you know, half, or, you know, it's less than what we have for Fuller Street, which is a $3.6 million project. So, you know, just looking at that, or, you know, Von Kennel, East Jelnik was 2.3, and we are 220,000 for construction and services there. So, I mean, this is a much more involved project. I mean, Weston Avenue, the $6.2 million project, and that's a $500,000 construction services contract. So, just looking at the size of the project, that number was low. But it was also based, I guess, more on that simpler project of getting the pavement in and out, and the signal inspections, more or less, so. And then this is also an estimated time and materials.
That I have, but I think I'm gonna print the agenda so I can track it. They're on number 14.
Valerie, mute, please. Thank you.
Great. Did you have anything else, Michael?
No, and then this one, you know, again, they did break out kind of the hours and kind of how their estimates and costs came together for the further duration of the project.
Any questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
Joe, if you want to make that motion, you have to unmute. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I move to recommend the village board approve the engineering services contract amendment number 2 for the Schofield Avenue construction project due to the change in project scope.
Motion by Joe,
Second.
second by Fred. Any other discussion?
So my only comment on this is Joe again, is to really try and keep this from happening again in the future would be to learn from the experience we've had here, and the need to get something to the finish line without really being able to spend the time to really look at it. You know, it's hard for me to feel good about this stuff, other than the fact that the guys that did this for Michael probably grossly misunderstood what we were really asking for. So I guess it comes down to a communication thing, trying to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, I'd say it wasn't necessarily a miscommunication. It was, I asked for something thinking that the project was a simpler project than what it ended up evolving into. So,
Sure.
like I said, that was more of a scoping issue of really diving into it and making sure that we had everything covered. And, you know, it's kind of snowballed. Once you start making one change, it creates a domino effect of there's three or four things that change now because you changed that one thing, so. But yes, definitely a lesson learned.
Yeah, and I think in general, we've seen that with a few projects where there's things that are certainly we can't predict, like having thick rock in the way of our utilities. But then some things where we can maybe just make sure we're taking our time when we're reviewing the item to make sure we're thinking of all the things that could be affected. But in the end, we needed the work done and work was done, so.
If it went the other way, we would have been overpaying though, right?
Yeah.
If it was a simple overlay, we would have been paying a lot more than we needed to.
I agree.
Everything you can possibly think of, and then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and hope it isn't needed.
All right, any other discussion? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 15, Ross Avenue Metro Drive to Alderson Street Right-of-Way Services Agreement.
Yep, so this was for the joint project with the city of Schofield. Becker Hoppy's been working on the design project here as part of our STP Urban program. This contract amendment is for the right-of-way services, so kind of the purchase of right-of-way and the creation of the transportation project plat, so that we can get all those easements and land acquisitions at the intersections taken care of. This project is part of the DOT grant funding cycle, so before they allow you to bid a project out, you have to show that you have all of your right-of-way secured. So we have to show that we have that ready to go by, I believe August of 2026 is our plan spec and estimate deadline. And the project will then be bid as part of the DOT LET package in November of 26 and start getting built in spring of 27. So as I guess, again, we have 14 parcels as part of this. As I look through it, that cost is comparable with what we've paid in our recent projects along Weston Avenue. Whether that was the joint project with Rothschild or the other one between X and J.
All right, any questions or comments? One question I have, Michael, is so these parcels are all parcels that are in the village of Weston, not Schofield.
Correct, yeah, yeah, we have 14, I think Schofield has either 13 or 15, one of the two, so there's just shy of 30 parcels total for the project.
Anything from you, Joe?
So I was just trying to understand how many lights are actually going to be added then?
This one's the real estate one, number 15.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
About the right-of-way acquisition
Yeah,
around.
okay. Yep, I got it.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend the village board approve the contract amendment with Becker Hoppy for the Ross Avenue Metro Drive to Alderson Street project for plating and real estate services in the amount of $77,832.
Motion from Tom. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Fred. Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 16, Weston Avenue, Alderson to Birch Street, street lighting.
Yeah, so I didn't, yeah, so there's 13 in Schofield, 14 in Weston on that parcel.
Oh, okay.
27 total. Okay, now number 16. So last month or late August, I was contacted by Tim Vergara at the Village of Rothschild saying that they've relooked at the lighting between Alderson and Birch Street. And I guess their village board came up with putting lights on these two blue poles that would be in these blue clouds. So there would be two lights added between Alderson and Birch Street. One would become Weston's light and one would be Rothschild's light. So like is probably a little more, I guess it's less lighting as we look at our village, kind of street lighting policy on corridors. I think we use about 520 feet or 1/10 of a mile a light, or at intersections, so. Right now, there's no lights there, so this is closer to what our light spacing would be if we're kind of doing it ourselves, so.
I'll make a motion to approve that simply because I used to go to the hospital at 4:45 in the winter. I volunteered there and almost hit a deer 4 times, and I think a little lighting in that area is probably a good idea.
This isn't gonna illuminate the road though, it shouldn't.
So I think that's the two options. So yeah, so the 6-foot arm, which is what they had, I mean, it might get it across the road, but not, it's not gonna light up the whole corridor, no. So, I mean,
It's basically trail lighting. And people are gonna use it at, probably it's light at 5 in the morning in the summer, and it's dark at 9:30, 10. I
yeah.
mean, to me, I think it's kind of a waste myself.
I don't think that area gets a lot of pedestrian.
It's getting more now with that trail going.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, there are people, I've been down there and they're using it.
Lighting was never intended for pedestrians.
That's what Rothschild wants it for, the pedestrian trail.
Well,
And you have some on Birch Street to the south that you don't have it. It's a rural, I don't know, that's my opinion, that
So
I think it's not needed.
So I do have a motion from Fred. Does anybody?
I'll withdraw that motion.
Okay. Fred
So-
withdrew.
Let you guys.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, Rothschild, I guess, did, so our cost would be roughly $25 a month for our light. We did ask Rothschild to pursue this project, as it was gonna be TIF funded for us and it wasn't in their capital improvement plan. I mean, so maybe there's a small concession of adding, I mean, one street light is one street light.
We asked them to pursue the street project.
The street project, yes,
Okay.
between Alderson and Birch, reconstructing that was a Village of Weston ask. Probably going back almost 4 or 5 years ago, knowing that we had a limited time frame left for TIF funding, and this was a project that we were interested in pursuing, so. For what that's worth, just trying to be a good neighbor. I understand the light part, trust me.
I know they've been on this, cause I thought we shelved this thing a month ago or two.
Yeah, I did too, and then
What-
I got contacted back, asking that we essentially entertain adding one light, so.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason it got shelved is because they weren't really getting back to us about the lighting options we had discussed. I had looked through the Rothschild packet and they use this example of Madison along the hospital corridor there. But that path it's completely unlike this one. That's on the other side of some railroad tracks along the hospital. And through a heavily populated area where they used a bunch of solar lighting, which it looks very nice, but a very different project. I'm in the same boat as Tom, where I think adding 2 lights is almost just kind of like, hey, we put in some lights. It's not lighting the corridor for people that are using that area. It's lighting a portion of it. We may have lighting over part of the roadway, but certainly not a large chunk of the roadway. And it's not consistent with other pedestrian and bike paths that we have in the village that currently aren't lighted in a more rural area. So anyway, that's my thought. Joe, did you have any thoughts on that?
Well, it goes back to, we were trying to get some cooperation between the two of us to do some stuff together, so ends up being one board's opinion that something is better than nothing, and ours that we don't know that something better than nothing really makes any sense either. In the spirit of cooperating with them, $25 a month doesn't seem like much, but in the idea of trying to manage what our costs are becoming, it's something that we probably shouldn't do.
Well, isn't it an initial, I read, is it like a 2,000 to hook? They have to get a transformer and then they need,
Yeah, so there'd be a transformer in there, what do you say?
2,000.
$2,000 to $4,000, so I guess we'd have half of that cost
and then your monthly.
and then a monthly fee, yeah.
I mean, I get where if you wanna, I mean, they wanted it and they were cooperative, I guess. The feasibility of it, to me, it doesn't, I don't think it does much. Like you said, it's gonna light up a little bit of that low spot there in the middle, and that's it. So,
I think we had maybe, like, I understand that design, but I think we had a different design months back, which showed the light, how far the light went a lot better. And if I recall, there was some concern about like how much of that light would reach the roadway, and create some issues or whatever, but anyway, any other questions or comments on that? Would anybody like to make a motion as to that item? Would anybody like to make a motion to that item?
I'll make a motion to not go ahead with the lighting,
What's to deny?
to deny
Okay.
yes.
Tom makes a motion to deny the lighting plan. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Fred. Any other discussion on that motion? The motion is to recommend denying the lighting plan along Weston Avenue from Tom. Motion by second. All those in favor of that motion, say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries. Item 17, Clean Water Fund Loan Resolution for reimbursement for the Highway 29 Business 51 Stormwater Project.
So yeah, this resolution is just our part of the Clean Water Fund submittal, declaring that we are anticipating to refund ourselves with borrowed funds from the state of Wisconsin. If we were to receive funding for the Clean Water Fund, so any expenses we have on the project would be reimbursed from that. The estimated cost right now is about 2.8 million. Our share of that is roughly 70%, or say $2 million, with Rothschild and Schofield picking up the other 30%. Well, I think Rothschild's like 28% almost, and Schofield's like 2%. The DOT is still looking at their stormwater model, and hopefully in the next week or two, they'll be getting back to us to see if they deem it worthy to partner with us on this or not.
Any questions or comments? Otherwise, I'll take a motion.
I'll move to recommend approval of resolution 2025-014.
Motion by Tom. Do I have a second?
Joel, where are
Do
you?
you have it? Yep, do you have a second?
I need a second.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 18, East Jelinek at Highway X turning movements.
So we discussed this as part of the East Jelinek reconstruction project at a couple years ago, or maybe it was last year during Public Works. Came back up as kind of an item of discussion at the board and then was discussed at the most recent community life public safety meeting. Was that last week?
Yep.
Okay, it's all a blur. So during the project, we had discussed restricting left turns to reduce crashes at the East Jellinek and Camp Phillips intersection, as well as I think just generally trying to dissuade people from using that as a cut-through street. I guess we did get some crash data from the police department where it was pretty low. There was 11 crashes over the last 5 years. And 3 of those 11 were due to left turns going on to Camp Phillips Road. So I guess 2 crashes a year on a side street going on to Camp Phillips. I'm guessing that's probably similar to just about any side street we have on Camp Phillips. You know, so it'd be here. I uploaded the wrong one. I had a nice picture from Luis and everything on the one I thought I had in the packet, so my bad on that one.
That's okay.
But there are some pine trees off to the left here that did get trimmed back and now you can see under them, which I know, I believe was probably a factor in the past about people feeling comfortable pulling out there because you really couldn't see traffic heading north on you. The Community Life Public Safety Committee did endorse just leaving the intersection as is. So I guess, so not restricting any movement, letting people turn left if they want to. So not sure if you guys have any thoughts on, I guess, reconsidering that or?
So just to give some background from my perspective, I was the one that made the motion in Public Works when this originally came. It was part of our bigger conversation about East Jellinek. And I think toward the end of that discussion, Hu Sheng maybe brought up about restricting the movement and I threw it into my motion. Afterward, I had reached out to Michael because as I gave it more thought, I'm like, all we're gonna do is move the problem. At least from my perspective as a resident who lives right down the street there. When it's busy, myself and my neighbors, we don't go down East Jellinek to turn left because we can go up by Quick Trip and just use the signals there. But during the rest of the day, it's not an issue. I've intentionally forced myself over the past few weeks to go over there to turn left to see how long it takes me. And then I've gone to a bunch of the other intersections that come off of Camp Phillips, and it's no different on any of the other intersections. You have the same issue when you're trying to turn left and it's a busy road. Same if you're on Schofield Ave or any other busy street. And if we were to restrict left turns, I think all we do is move the problem to another street. People are just gonna go down the block to Douglas and turn left there because they're allowed to. And then we're putting more traffic on a residential street that's not intended for that traffic rather than on East Jellinek, which is intended for more traffic. So after giving it all that thought, I had reached out to Michael and then it came up in board that we hadn't done anything on this. So we decided to bring it up at Community Life and Public Safety and I gave the same feedback and like Michael said, the biggest issue in the past was off to the south there. There was a bunch of trees and you couldn't really see while turning, and that's now been trimmed way up so you can see quite a bit that way to make it easier. So that's how we got where we are.
I think a lot of the industrial traffic the other way on Jellinek is doing the same thing. They're now all turning on, is that Von Kemmel? Going up to Barbercon Way, because there's a light there. And you might have to wait a little bit, but you know you're gonna get out.
Yeah.
I mean, from 7 till 8:15, it's crazy trying to make a left turn there, and so people have just gotten out of the habit of even trying.
Yeah.
And the rest, like you say, the rest of the day, it's not an issue.
Yeah, so there it is now looking left. So those pine trees used to come all the way to the ground, so we're pretty much blinded. Could maybe see to the post and then anything else after that was generally shaded. So now you can at least see further down the roadway to see what's coming your way.
I would move to leave the intersection as it is.
Motion from Fred,
I'll second.
second from Tom. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion passes, and then we'll jump to the final item, number 2025 to 2029 capital improvement plan discussion.
All right, well. Maybe in October, I'll just put nothing else on the agenda. I leave this at the end because I know it can kind of become overwhelming and take over a lot of time on the project, so. I did go through and added in future years, I think last couple meetings, we just had kind of did the 2026, 2027 projects. Trying to fill out the table, one of the items I guess I've historically in 2018, 2019, was kind of the last time I was probably given good financial guidance as far as how much kind of a targeted value for borrowing in the general fund. So at that time, it was $3 million a year. So that's really the number that I've been still sticking with, is trying to stay at or near that $3 million number in the general fund. So the 2026 number, I'm at 2.86 million. 2027 is 3.14. 2028, 2.37. 2029, 2.92. So I guess that kind of makes it so you can place projects and try to get equipment purchases and, park projects, facility projects, all those items that get paid for out of the general fund. Figuring out how do you kind of partner those, and which years can you look for so that you kind of are creating a sustainable, if that's a dollar amount that the board, I guess, is still good with. That's the last guidance I really got, and nobody's told me no since then. When we get grant funding on projects, that's kind of a bonus. We can either then move that project off, because all of a sudden you get a $2 million project that you get 50% funding on. Now, now we might be at, $2 million a year instead of 3 million. So then we can either slide another project up, or we just have a light year that year for funding. So, those are always options that we have out there as well. So, I guess, after this 2029 season, it'll be a lot of residential neighborhoods getting reconstructed, primarily west of Alderson Street. So that junior high to senior high area, that's where a lot of our asbestos cement pipe is. So getting that water main replaced before it all starts failing on us is going to be important. So, I mean, that's kind of where I see the 5 years after that really focusing. Maybe there's a few more sections of Schofield Ave that we want to start taking care of, probably in that 5 to 6 year horizon, moving east towards Camp Phillips from Birch Street, which just made me think we, by the end of the month, early October, I'll have to start putting together grant applications for the surface transportation program, which we currently have the 3 Ross Avenue projects through with the DOT. So that's probably another section of roadway we could add in, and probably be looking at that. If we did get funding, it probably would be in that 5 to 6 year window from today. So probably worth throwing something together for that one. So if there's other corridors or projects you see out there that kind of haven't been identified, I guess let me know. Bad pavement is one thing, those we take care of with overlays, or maybe slight repaving projects. But when it starts becoming the water main, the sewer pipe, drainage issues, and bad pavement, then it hits the point of just needing a full reconstruct on that corridor. Which, like I said, a lot of that original village infrastructure was put in the 60s, and we're hitting that 60, 70 year mark on a lot of that underground infrastructure. So trying to get to it before it all completely fails, or we have more main breaks and other catastrophic failures. It's really the goal.
Any questions or comments?
Would you be looking for a motion this evening. While we're going through budget process, I think it would be good to have some recommendation before we got to the budget hearing where we talked about capital improvement from Public Works. So I mean, even if the budget is like, we think you're on track, Michael, I think that's helpful. Taking that forward to board. Probably one more meeting, one more budget workshop meeting away from CIP, maybe two, but you might not meet again before that would happen.
So would you be looking for, I guess, like a motion to say, move to follow the proposed plan?
Or move to present to the board as a recommendation to board for consideration. I think either would be good.
Would anybody like to make a motion?
I will do so.
Motion by Fred. Do you mind?
We're simply presenting this to the board.
As a draft to the board.
That's the motion.
Okay. And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tom. Any discussion? All right, motion is a second, no discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Future items, next meeting dates are October 13th and November 10th. Will there be any conflicts with Veterans Day on November 10th?
I think we're still open.
Yeah, we are.
All right, so October 13th and November 10th for the regular meetings. There may be a public information meeting coming out.
Yeah, that's October 8th, for the Ross Ave. I'll get that out to you guys, but like I said, it's not necessarily a scheduled Public Works meeting, but if you did want to attend on, for your own knowledge, or you can do so.
Topics for future meetings, village-wide WPS street lighting update and consolidation of Ryan Street Yards material site with the Village of Rothschild, discussion on those items. Any remarks from staff?
Did Rothschild close their site?
No, they haven't.
They're just talking about if
We would combine.
consolidate.
Yeah, it's been on there for a while. Had some information from them maybe back in May, and really haven't heard back since then, so.
We've kind of left it in their court to bring forward what that proposal would look like if they wanted to combine, so I think they're working through what that proposal would look like.
Any remarks from staff? Any remarks from committee members, Joe?
I guess a question for Jamie. Am I gonna have to log into a new meeting for the plan commission?
Great segue. For those of everyone that's online, if you've joined us early for the plan commission meeting, we'll mute and we'll turn off the camera because we'll take a little pause, but just stay here and then we'll start the next meeting shortly for plan commission. So you don't have to log off and log back in.
Thank you.
How many comments? No. Fred?
No.
All right, nothing for me. No announcements. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. We are adjourned at 5:58.